Hi. So in this video, I want to talk about the consciousness behind human design. That's why it's titled, What is Human Design Consciousness? Now, some of you may know, and many of you won't know, that I've put together a program, a second program to follow up after my initial program on human design called Human Design for Innovators and Entrepreneurs. And that second program is called Human Design Consciousness. Now, this video is not a promotion for that, although I will mention it, so it will get promoted. But that's not why I'm doing it. And I want to be clear about that just for full disclosure. I want to look at the consciousness behind human design. And the understanding of that is what gave birth to the whole framework and the structure of the way I'm presenting the second program with that name. Now, human design consciousness, the consciousness behind human design, is not the same as the consciousness behind the way we made decisions as human Homo sapiens. Right? It's a different consciousness because it comes from a different awareness and requires a more flexible, fluid, expanded, inclusive consciousness than the consciousness that was required in general to live as a Homo sapiens. And to just make clear the distinction there, in a practical way, Homo sapiens were people who made decisions with their minds. In other words, it was who we were designed to be up until 230 years ago. That's just putting the whole thing in simple perspective. We were designed to make decisions with our mind until 230 years ago. We now have bodies that are designed to make decisions differently, but we're still making decisions with our mind. And all it's doing is amplifying massively the positive sides and the negative sides of making decisions with our mind. And at the same time, creating an immense amount of stress for our body and our mind. And this is really important to understand. Making decisions with our mind was a phase we went through. And to do that, we had to be aware of particular things and conscious of various things. And it did stimulate the growth of our consciousness in certain areas, such as the ability of our mind to think and to be strategic and to figure out how to win rather than lose, and to be highly logical, or, and this is the key, or highly intuitive. But never really allowed both to work together fully to their capacity. Making decisions with our mind required a body that could put up with a lot of peaks, highs and lows, because we would make great progress but then have great collateral damage. The body would go through an awful amount of stress, because if you won a battle and won, you would still have to recover from the horrors of battle. And if you won a battle and lost, you would suffer the consequences, even if you escaped, of the trauma that would do to your mind and particularly your body. If you made decisions that were out of sync with the way things are going in life, you had to have a body that could put up with all the battering that would happen there. The hardships of life, which we got to a point of nobilizing in our history. You know, the Spartans and Romans and, you know, the hardships of life that people endured. And we got to a point of truly nobilising struggle. And so you had to have a unique awareness, which was highly strategic. You need to be able to be cunning. You needed to be able to be clever, sometimes ruthless, and still compassionate and loving and all the natural human qualities. The qualities of being human. I mean, those qualities, you know, being caring, loving on the physical level exist within mammals and many other animal species in very instinctive, defined ways, but they exist. So we were working through this difficult phase of our development, I call it, most of us call normal human behaviour, but it isn't. It was a difficult phase of our development. Sometimes I refer to it as being teenagers. You know, it's a difficult. You grow an immense amount. You learn how to think. You start to learn how to make your way through life. But your hormones are pumping. Your emotions are going all over the place. And you know, by the early 20s, your vulnerability to the negative side of ego becomes very strong because you're supposed to know what you're doing. But most people really don't have a clue. They're still young. So there's a lot of challenges, stress, adaptation, you know, working around things that happens when you're a teenager. And teenagers have a very particular consciousness. Well, human design really introduces you to the adult stage of our evolution as human beings. This is the maturing adult phase of human development. And again, in history, we're at this phase where we're like 21 years old, ego's rampant in the world, negative ego. I mean, healthy ego's an important thing to have, but negative ego's rampant. You know, people are polarizing, just like people do in teenage and early adulthood. And yet things are becoming very complex in the world, more complex than our ability of our mind to make decisions about what is right for us in the physical world is able to cope with. Our mind at the moment, as complex and as amazing, as incredible it is out of its depth. And part of the reason is the physical world and our experience of it as human beings is becoming incredibly complex and evolved. And the second really important part is the mind was never designed to make decisions about how you live your life in the physical world. The mind is in contact with the physical world for sure, through the brain, through the body, through the senses. But its main domain is in the realm of imagination and beyond. You know, we're limited by the speed of light in our physical bodies. Our mind isn't. Our mind can time travel. It can be in several places at once, bilocate, trilocate. It can travel through this universe far faster than the speed of light. It's not really connected to the physical world. And yet, for tens of thousands of years, it was put under that burden of deciding how we live our life. And again, there were benefits to that. But there was a big, big downside. There were great benefits to that in terms of our mind and our brain's evolution. Developments of parts of the body that, you know, became tougher. They just had to be. There was a lot of progress in the world, but a lot of collateral damage because the mind was out of its normal realm. And I like to summarize it this way, that when you see the mind making decisions about your physical life is like you playing a video game, making decisions about the lives of the people in the video game. You know, if you get shot or something, the car crashes, or you shoot a whole bunch of people and, you know, win the game, or run the other cars off the road, or whatever it is you do in the video game. I mean, you don't walk away from that feeling incredible guilt and trauma. Not in an obvious sense anyway. You know, you don't feel that. You feel, oh, well, that was an interesting experience. Oh, I lost. Oh, I got shut up. Well, shut up. Next time I'll come back and do it again. You know, because I got an infinite number of shots at this. You know, well, maybe not infinite, but I got a lot more chances to play the game. And from the mind's point of view, that's true. But from your body's point of view, living in this physical world, this is the one life it's got. And if you're making decisions like you're doing playing a video game in a world where the consequences of your decisions come back directly to your body, then it's liable you're going to have some, at the best I could put it is very interesting, maybe very traumatic experiences or disappointing experiences, and some great wins. But it's still disconnected because you're making decisions that are out of sync. You're making decisions about what you think is happening, and it's out of sync with what is actually happening in the physical world. And this physical world is no little, you know, merely skinny weakling. I mean, the physical world lives in a physical universe with incredibly powerful forces at work and deep evolutionary processes flowing through it, with the power of space and the power of time, energy and matter. And they've got their own cycles and their own agendas, you could say. They're flowing through their own paths. And it's true, we create our own reality with our mind. As far as the imagination's concerned, and even in this world. But there's one extra step. When you create your reality, which we're now conscious that we can do, and that we do with our conscious mind, through choice, then the thing that clinches it is decision making. And decision making is where whatever you've created in your imagination, whatever you've created in your mind, whatever you've thought on, felt into, it comes down to making a decision. And that decision is, now I'm going to manifest it. Now it's going to happen. I'm going to put my energy into making it happen. Now, the problem with the mind making the decisions is it's disconnected from the forces at work in the physical world. And then it makes a decision that's out of sync with what's actually happening. You decide to go surfing on a day when the ocean is flat. You're going to be disappointed. You decide to go swimming because you've just arrived in Hawaii. You've never swum in your life. You've heard how beautiful the water is, and you're just going to jump into the first ocean that you see. Happens in Australia all the time. People turn up, book into their hotel, go down the beach, jump in the water, drown. Because they're not ready. Great decision. I'm on holidays. This is when I can do it. and then the forces of the ocean take them away. And this is what's been going on in the world. People are going, yes, I can be rich, I can be rich, I can be rich. Some people do. They win a lottery. It's all based on feeding that frenzy to be rich. And within a few years, they lose it all because they don't have the energy to sustain it, and the timing was wrong for them. They don't have the insight, the education, the experience to be able to handle it. Some manage to learn on the run. But the key about making great decisions, as far as your body is concerned, as far as your physical life is concerned, is you need to know that the energy's right and the timing is right in this world, not just in your head. Because if the timing is right and the energy is there, you'll enjoy manifesting it, and everything around you, in the world around you, will be working with you. There'll be a demand from your customers. They'll be looking for the product you're putting out. You go and talk to your partner, and she's ready to get married, and you show her the ring, and bingo. Timing's right, the energy's right. I mean, I could give you 1,000 examples, but I'm sure you've got plenty of your own. So that is really, really a huge thing. That human design offers you a really effective alternative, an incredibly effective and appropriate, the time is right for this, way of making decisions that doesn't involve using your mind. And it works brilliantly in the physical world for the physical body, for the life that you actually have now. It might not work that way in another lifetime if you come back, but for this lifetime, perfect. How you can make decisions for you. And you don't even have to believe it. You can test it. I mean, you believe enough in yourself and in life and in this to test it. But if when you try it in the real world, it works. That's my experience after 8.5 years of really living this. It works brilliantly. And the other benefit is it doesn't make the mind evil or bad or the problem. It frees the mind from the slavery of having to run your life. Because for your mind, it has been like slavery. The mind is meant to soar in the realm of imagination, dreaming, visioning, dealing with bringing beauty out of chaos, being creative, harmonizing with the elements, both physical and non-physical, relating to the divine, however you perceive that. It's brilliant for that. Absolutely incredible for that. And it's designed for that. But when it comes to the physical world, it's far better off being an observer, appreciating and enjoying the experience while it lasts, and even bringing possibilities to the edge of this reality that add real value. It's brilliant for that. But deciding when to apply those possibilities, when to manifest them, when the energy's right, when the timing's right, it's not good at that because this isn't its realm. It's the realm of your body. Your body's a part of this realm. Your mind's a visitor. And that's why the people who founded human design would say, sit in the back seat and enjoy the ride. Well, there's more to it than that, but that's a huge part because it's sit back and get in sync with what is really happening. That's the consciousness you need. To be aware of what is happening. You have your own, now here's the other thing, you have your own unique perspective. You have your own unique awareness that's defined by the life and the body that you're in. So your mind looks through you, interacts with the world through you in a very unique way. And it perceives things in an extremely unique way. And for the body to relate to that and for the mind to enjoy and appreciate the body, you need to have a brain and a nervous system and a body that is operating in a very unique way. And for that to happen, you need to take from your food what is important for the brain and the body and the nervous system. And your body needs to be able to really live in an environment that's fantastic for it, that supports it, so that this unique perspective can come out and this unique awareness can come out. Because your mind, your consciousness will exist when you die. It'll go, you won't lose it. It won't see, it won't operate, it won't interact with the world in the same way. But while it's here in the body, it has its own unique way of seeing the world and its own unique awareness it brings to the world. Because you have a unique perspective in the whole of history. It happens to be your body looking at the world in your way from the place that you're in, with the awareness that you bring. And to do, for the mind and the body to work together, because it's not just a matter of sitting back and enjoying the ride. That's a crucial part of it, because if you're not doing that, you're not even allowing your body to synchronize with what is happening, to flow with what is happening, to enjoy what is happening, to be aware of what is actually happening. And therefore, we're all trying to impose our ideas on the world, rather than let our ideas come and at the appropriate time enrich the world that we're in, enrich the people that we're with and that we love and that we care for, that we're caring for. And so here's the second thing that comes out. Human design consciousness is a consciousness that recognizes that every single one of us, starting with ourselves, is an utterly unique individual. And therefore, it's not strategizing to survive like we did when we were making decisions with our mind, when we had Homo sapiens consciousness, which was appropriate for them, but we're not doing that. We're looking at how we can appreciate, how we can enjoy. And I use that word appreciate not just in terms of taking in, but in a financial sense. How can we appreciate this life? Give more to it, add more value to it, experience more value in it and from it. And to do that, to add value, to bring what only you can bring to the table, and to receive from life what life has only for you, the special, unique gift of experience that life has just for you. You have to recognize, be aware of, be conscious of, be engaged with the experience of you being a fully and utterly unique individual, not just someone who fits into society, who just gets along. Now, in the past, when survival was the bottom line, that was necessary. You can't, in a tribe where you're fighting for survival, or an army, or whatever you're doing, a business, you can't have everyone just wandering off doing their own thing, especially when they're making decisions with their mind, because they'll wander off and do their own thing, and it'll all be completely out of sync with what's happening. So you have to pull them together and discipline them and homogenize them and get them all lined up in a row. And there was a lot of strategies, some beautiful, really drawing people in with love and care and hope for the future and, caring for one another. And many of them were just brutal and manipulative. Whether it's economics, trade, war, you name it. Relationships. Relationships themselves had to be put in a box. They had to be formularized and made into, this is the way it is. And if you deviate from that, you're a bad person. You're an evil person. You're not one of us. Now, with the emergence, see, human design consciousness emerges out of a new possibility of making decisions, where the mind soars in its own realm and decides and creates whatever it wants in the realms of imagination and beyond, and brings the results of that to the edge of this world. And the body, who's a part of this world, soars in its realm of living a physical life, excels at living a physical life, not in the terms of society, but in your own terms. And it decides when a great idea or something that the mind has imagined, when it's in sync with what is happening. It's no point saying, let's go for a swim if you're an Eskimo in the middle of winter. Just using an extreme example. You might go hunting, but you don't want to go for a swim. Not the way we do in Australia anyway. So there's this whole thing emerging, and it's a consciousness. It's not, which comes first, the chicken or the egg? Did our bodies turn up as this new type of human being with a new design? Or did the consciousness turn up and then the bodies changed? Well, it depends on your concept of time and all sorts of other things. The fact is, we just didn't get a new body. You and I didn't get a new type of body that now is designed to live into the mid-80s and beyond, often way beyond. Whereas if you got to the 30s, in the past, you were doing really well. We didn't just turn up with these bodies that now make decisions differently or are designed to make decisions with our strategy and inner authority. There's a whole new consciousness coming with it. And it's an awareness that you are an utterly unique individual, and that's okay, and it's totally appropriate, and the world needs you to be one. But if you're going to be a unique individual, which will always promote change, don't do it with your mind. Do it with strategy and inner authority, because that means that your individuality will play out when the energy and the time is right, not only for you, but for the people around you. So there'll be this synchronization. There'll be this utilization of the energies of the world, harmonizing and working with them. Not just the mind's concept of nature, not just the mind's concept of physics or genetics or anything, but something that brings all of these fields together and all the factors involved, including the needs of human beings, to sometimes break free and do things a little differently, even in nature and whatever, to be creative. But it brings all of that and creates the time and space and the appropriateness of time and space for whatever you need to express to happen. Put simply, when you make decisions that way, you end up where you belong, not where you think you belong. And where you belong, everyone wants you to be an individual. Now, what comes with being an individual is realizing we're all different And the consciousness that goes from there into all our relationships changes everything. The whole shift goes from, when am I going to get a relationship? Or I'll miss out, or I'll be too old to have children, or I'll be this, or I'll be that, or I want a marriage, I want a white picket fence, all that sort of stuff, and all the other forms that go no matter what society you're in. It shifts to, you know what? With every single person I meet, I'm going to need to develop the skill to be fluid and flexible in my relating, so that they respect my unique individuality and I respect theirs, and we learn how to relate together. And from our learning through relating, what develops is a relationship that's unique to the two of you, or the three of you, or the 20 of you, or the two countries involved, or the two businesses merging. Relationship is shifting into developing the skill and the art of relating, because that's what is absolutely necessary when people turn up as individuals. And to navigate through this far more complex territory, you need to give to your mind what is your mind's. Set your mind free from the slavery of running your life. Allow it to do what it's really great at doing, and seeing what incredible richness and abundance it brings to you. Because if it does, and it will reflect in your external reality, because that's what external realities do. They reflect what's going on inside of you. Even if none of your brilliant ideas ever contribute anything physically, and many of them will contribute lots, the abundance of your spirit, the abundance of your imagination, the abundance and the sense of freedom of your mind, the openness, the unique perspective that comes from your mind and is then shared in a unique way through your perspective and your awareness in the world, through what they call in human design your outer authority, then that is going to come and make your life so rich and so full. And the body can relax because it's been honoured by being given the right to make decisions in its own realm. And the body isn't just the physical body. There's so many dimensions within that, energetically. It's not just matter, it's energy. And the matter and the energy communicate. And it connects and relates to the whole world, the whole universe that it lives in. Think of the internet. Same thing. It's got access to all the information this body needs, this consciousness needs. And each one of you has a unique way of making decisions that will harmonise your body with this world, so that you get the very best out of this world, so you end up where you belong, you receive the experiences that life has uniquely to you, and your mind gets to lay back, enjoy the experiences, and then add value to the mix while respecting your body's timing and energy. Your mind becomes a great friend, a great tool, a great ally. Not a master, not a dictator, not something that dominates you and tries to force the world to its will, which is what we've been doing, and the feedback hasn't been that great. Sure, it's stretched boundaries, but usually that's because the love that's behind all of this leaks through. Our mind can't contain that. It can't dominate that. Even in the realm within which it really operates naturally, there's something greater than that as well. And that love leaks through. And now it's time for us to open the doorways to the beauty that's behind life itself. Whether you happen to be alive in a human body or elsewhere. Because if we can bring that love through, if the mind can, rather than trying to control this world and control whatever else is out there, can just relax, lay back, enjoy the journey, take it all in, and contribute where its genius can contribute. You know, be the mediator with our relationship with the divine. Be the mediator with our body with the divine. Let the body do its own thing. Leave the divine to do its own thing and enjoy doing its own thing. Boom! That's when you get a consciousness that is so much vaster, more powerful, more fulfilling, more juicy, more passionate, and more loving. Not just all love and we're all peaceful, you know, but passionately peaceful, passionately loving, richly loving. Not this poverty of spirit that's led to poverty in the world. And that's, you know, I've described, hopefully rationally, some sense of what the human design consciousness is. But maybe in the last few minutes as I've been talking, you can get a feel for it. Because there is a sense of incredible freedom and power that doesn't need to dominate or overpower. And freedom with responsibility in this consciousness that human design helps you open up to. Human design is no cult. It's not even a location for like-minded people. It's not a school. It is a fundamental upgrade, is probably the best word. A fundamental upgrade in the way you live your life. I used to use the word change, but it just came to me. It's a fundamental upgrade in the way you live your life. And if you don't get that and you want to stay with MS-DOS or whatever it is your life is, even if you've got a great life, I keep saying this is not just for people who are down and out, it's just that they tend to be more open to it. But if you have a great life and you're doing really well, there's so much more. I had a great life. And yeah, I had my challenges, but I thought that was normal for human. Well, some of them are, but a vast chunk of them aren't. I was just getting into trouble because my mind was making decisions and it didn't have the full picture. With human design, the great life that I've had has gone to an even better life. And the areas where I was having problems, not overnight, not instantly, but over time have grown into being real assets and things that I truly, truly enjoy. And that is what is happening for all of us. It's what's happening for you watching this. You know, human design is not a fad or a system. It's a fundamental upgrade in the way you live your life. It's information that can help you with this change, this upgrade, this evolution that we're all going through in really down-to-earth practical ways, and can make a major contribution, become an incredible asset in your life. So that's what I have to say today. Hopefully it's given you a sense of the incredible, amazing consciousness behind human design. And if you're interested in any of the programs that I mentioned, particularly, you know, whether it's a consultation or Human Design for Innovators and Entrepreneurs, or this new program, Human Design Consciousness, well, check it out. I'm sure the websites will be up on the screen, or you'll find them. They're out there. So look forward to talking to you again. Bye.